Alright, so let me preface this video by letting you guys know that Frost Death Knight was my main alt in Warlords of Draenor. I actually played it just because I wanted something very simple to play, and Frost Death Knight definitely helped me do that because back then it was known as like one of the easiest melee in Warlords of Draenor, and I really don't think that that has really changed in Legion. However, there have been quite a lot of changes to the Frost Death Knight in Legion, and I want to go over those. But I do want to tell you a little bit about my experience with Frost Death Knight. I leveled it to 100 in a couple days, got PvP blue gear and the epic PvP weapon at the time. So I only had that gear, and then I got to like 25, 50 and 3s in like 2 days of playing the character. Never played Death Knight in my life, and got that high rated because I played with the Feral Druid, and all we did was run in and we killed healers, and that was what we did. We did it great because we were able to pull off a ton of DPS. And what's really cool about Frost Death Knight is it can still do that. It can still pull a lot of DPS in a very short amount of time with a burst window and a lot of cooldowns. So there's a couple things that I want to go over, and the main thing is actually there's a couple main things. So first, I want you to notice that the action bar is very, very not filled up. The thing is that Frost Death Knight really doesn't have a whole lot of abilities. And that is because most of their abilities lie in steroids, which, steroids are basically like an ability or a cooldown that you can use to enhance your character's strength. That's pretty much what a steroid would be. And now, that steroid is similar to, like, let's look. Pillar of Frost, for example, increases your strength by 20% for 20 seconds, right? And that's a minute cooldown, okay? And then there's stuff like, where's that? Obliteration, yeah, that's another steroid. It makes it so your Obliterate costs 1 less rune, and also Frost Strike triggers Killing Machine, which is awesome. And then there's another steroid, such as like Blood Fury, right? Which is the Orc ratio, and so just simple things like that. And I pretty much bound all of those into one macro to make them very simple to use. So Pillar Frost, Blood Fury, and Obliteration. And what we're doing here with that is on S, and then the rest are pretty much your damage abilities. And there's a couple things that I want to explain really quick, and that is the first thing is Remorseless Winter is not a talent anymore. It is just a baseline ability, and what it does is it just is an AoE 20-second cooldown. It does damage and slows everybody around you for 8 seconds, which is cool, or over 8 seconds, but it has a 20-second cooldown. So it's a relatively short cooldown for this like AoE slow, but if you take this Winter is Coming talent, then you can actually stun people who are in your Remorseless Winter 5 times, or for 5 seconds. So if they're struck 5 times by Remorseless Winter, they're going to be stunned for 4 seconds. And this is an AoE effect with a 20-second cooldown, which is really cool. That means like every 25 seconds, if you have solid uptime, if you're on a target for that long, then you're going to be stunning them for 4 seconds every 20 to 25 seconds, which is really cool. And I think that this is very strong because it's an AoE effect, right? So this is something that you're going to have up a lot during Frost Arena, but I do want to talk about the 4 damage abilities for Frost Death Knights. Because I think that while Frost Death Knights are very simple to play, I think that their element is very simple. You run up and you build runic power, you spend runic power. But the cool thing about Frost Death Knights is that they have a lot of burst potential. They have a lot of in the moment ability priority, and as a good Frost Death Knight or a good Death Knight player in general that doesn't want to play Unholy, I feel that if you are going to play Frost, you're going to run into a type of simplicity, but also a level of depth, because you also have to think about in the moment what procs you have, and then use your abilities according to that. So obviously, if I get a free Howling Blast proc, I'm going to be using that Howling Blast over say Obliterate at the time for that simple global. Or if there's a target ahead of me, obviously I want to slow it down, so I'm going to use Chains of Ice. Or if I need to build runic power or just spend runes in general, I'm going to use Obliterate. If I get a Killing Machine proc, I'm going to use Frost Scythe. Or if I have a ton of runic power and not many runes, obviously we're going to be using Frost Strike to not only regenerate those runes, but also to what's it called, to dump that runic power and do a lot of damage with that. So that's kind of how it works. So like if I were to do a lot of damage, what I would do is pretty much just open with a Pillar of Frost and Chill Streak. And real quick, I want to explain 2 more abilities before we jump into that whole like damage thing. And that is, one is Chill Streak. Okay, so Chill Streak is the last one in your PvP talent, and this is probably the strongest ability that Death Knights have right now, because it's a 1-minute cooldown as opposed to the artifact ability that is a 5-minute cooldown. I'll get to that in a second. But what this does is it actually hits the target for 12% of their total health and then slows them for 4 seconds at a 70% movement speed debuff, which is really good. But not only that, it actually bounces between targets. So if there's 2 targets standing next to each other, then you use a Chill Streak, it's going to hit the first guy that you targeted, right? And then it's going to bounce in between them, and every time it bounces up to 5 different bounces, it's going to take 12% of their health away, which is a ton of damage. Like, you can take upwards of 36% off of one guy's health and 24% off of another guy's health, theoretically. And I think that that is really, really strong and allows for huge amounts of bursts whenever you like grip Chains of Ice a healer in onto a DPS that's not very mobile, and then use Chill Streak and do a massive amount of damage just with that one ability. And you can also Remorseless Winter to keep them both on you and do this AoE stun thing. And then if you're looking for a kill, obviously you can use Sindragosa's Fury, which is the artifact weapon ability, which is on a 5-minute cooldown, which is very long. Okay, that's a very long cooldown, but it does a massive amount of damage. It does anywhere between 300 to 600,000 damage non-crit. I'm not actually sure if this ability can crit. I'm sure you guys know down in the comments below, but I've yet to see this ability crit yet for like 1 million or anything like that. So I haven't seen anything crazy like that. But what we're gonna do for damage wise is we're pretty much just going to pop Pillar of Frost, or pop Remorseless Winter first, and then we're gonna Pillar of Frost, Chill Streak into Obliterate, and then we're gonna play our procs effectively. So if I get Killing Machine, I'm gonna Frost Scythe. If I get Freezing Fog, I'm going to use my Howling Blast, and then Obliterate until we're out of runes, and then Frost Strike him down until he's dead, right? And I didn't even use my Sindragosa's Fury, but if I do want to do that, then obviously you're going to see a huge amount of damage through this ability, and it actually looks really cool too. So you can be from a pretty long yard range, 40 yards, and just use it, and it does a pretty massive amount of damage. I hit him for 300k. And if you get a bunch of targets in one spot and use Sindragosa's Fury, you're going to do a ton of damage, which is cool. And I think that this spec allows for a lot of like on-the-fly decision making, right? So if you get stunned, should you use Icebound Fury or Icebound Fortitude in order to get out of that stun and keep the pressure up? If you're out of runes, should you reset them with Empower Rune Weapon? Is your Horn of Winter being used efficiently since it's only a 30-second cooldown? Do you have Killing Machine procs? Do you want to use Frost Scythe? All these little things, these decisions that come from playing the class well and having that muscle memory, I think is really cool. And that's pretty much why I wanted to play Frost Death Knight, because I think that it is available for fun gameplay, even though it's not super challenging and requires a lot of CC like say an Arcane Mage or a Frost Mage does. I think that this class allows for a very fun, straightforward spec that also relies on you being able to be knowledgeable about your damage, ability, priority, and rotation, which is cool. So yeah, guys, what we're going to do now is jump into some arenas and show you exactly what that looks like in like a real PvP situation, and I definitely hope you enjoy, so let's go ahead and get into it. And that does sum it up for today's video, guys. I hope you did enjoy this video. This has been a class that I've been wanting to learn for quite some time, and I've really enjoyed playing it. I'm probably going to continue in Legion. Maybe not my first alt, but definitely going to be something that I will be playing in Legion for sure. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Obviously, be sure to give a like if you did enjoy, and also a comment down below. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you'd like to see future videos, and check out my website to see my top 5 favorite Legion beta classes on my website. The guide is for free, so be sure to check that out, and I will see you in the next one. Cartoons out. 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 The next one. Cartoons out.